Hello and welcome to a rootin' tootin' Roy Rogerin episode of Video Holocaust. My name is Gunslinger Grey and today we shift focus from the Far East to the Old West as I bring to you a review from a much maligned genre that sprung up in Italy towards the end of the Hollywood studio system and helped to usher in a darker in tone and more violent view to the traditional all-American Western. The spaghetti Western, a disparaging term often used to describe the movies of Sergio Leone, but today's review is of a lesser known but no less important work. It is 1966's Django.
Non credevo che la questione razziale implicasse anche I poveri avvoltoi. Pensavo riguardasse solo I porci sudisti.
Possiamo procedere, ragazzi.
Now, originally I was thinking of reviewing the nutty Takeshi Miike cowboy flick Sayuki Western Django, but why look at a tribute when I could just review the real thing? And while I take little interest personally in the Western genre as a whole, I do make exceptions, like for the output of Man with No Name movies by Sergio Leone, such as the Dollars trilogy starring Clint Eastwood and Once Upon a Time in the West, which is my favourite by the way, with Charles Bronson. But out of the many hundreds of cheaply shot spaghetti westerns to come out of Italy, Spain and even Germany, Django is the only true domestic rival to the success and legacy of Leone's work.
Bene, porco. Fatti accompagnare da tutti e 40 la prossima volta.
Starring Franco Nero, seen here in a brief cameo in Quentin Tarantino's Django Unchained, that I know a lot of you probably failed to pick up on, Django would be Nero's big break, not just in Italian cinema, but also Hollywood. Although his most famous roles that I can think of off the top of my head would be as the nemesis to John McClane in Die Hard 2, and also in the first canon ninja movie, 1981's truly appalling Enter the Ninja. Besides the iconic image of the lone drifter coming to town dragging a coffin behind him, which has inspired generations of filmmakers and animators, from Robert Rodriguez's breakout film El Mariachi to being spoofed in an episode of Cowboy Bebop and video games such as Gungrave, the Django name itself has taken on a life of its own, a lot like Emmanuel, with Django being used in the titles of as many as 30 to 40 movies throughout the late 60s, 70s and 80s, right up into 2012's Django Unchained. While there was only ever one official sequel to this film, with Nero reprising his most iconic role in Django Strikes Again in 1987. The original film sees Nero taking on not just the local hooded bad guys, but using Mexican revolutionaries to help him steal a fortune in gold. However, his attempt at a double cross comes to a rather painful end when they crush his hands for his insurrection, leaving him unable to wipe his arse, let alone hold a gun. Now, as interesting as all this is, why go to all the trouble of actually reviewing what is a fairly well-known classic in the spaghetti western genre? Well, while the film was praised by critics in many parts of the world upon release, it was actually banned here in the UK, with it not seeing an official, heavily edited release until 1993. Meaning it was on my must-watch video nasty list growing up, and as such it holds a lot of nostalgia for me. And this remastered DVD is the first time it's been available here, not just uncut, but also in its original Italian version, which is far superior to the more well-known English dub. Django is one of those movies that was made to turn what you expected to see on its head. Its levels of violence, which seem a bit silly now, like the infamous ear-cutting scene, shocked audiences back in the 60s, and was to cause more controversy in the 90s when Quentin Tarantino included a homage to it in Reservoir Dogs. The down and dirty mud-strewn locations were deliberately chosen to give the film a unique look and feel, compared to the more operatic landscapes seen in a Leone or Hollywood western. But while Leone's stature has grown over the years and his films have been re-evaluated, studied and championed by critics the world over, the European spaghetti western has been pushed further to the margins. But with Tarantino releasing his love letter to the genre in 2015's Hateful Eight, and new audiences keen to see for themselves the passion, energy and risk-taking involved in what was a short-lived but highly influential period in film history, Django, rightly, can lay claim to be one of its best examples. So folks, this has been my review of the excellent Old West action tale Django, which I've always considered, along with its director Sergio Corbucci's follow-up western The Great Silence, to be on par with any of the legendary Sergio Leone's oeuvre. So my name's Gray, thank you for watching this something of a change of pace video. Would you like to see me do more videos looking at forgotten gems from cult cinema? Just let me know in the comment section down below. And don't worry, I will be back very soon with more martial arts and horror reviews that I know you've all come to love. Yes, so once again, thank you very much for watching. More videos coming your way very soon. So I'm out of here. Adios.